Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Oh, Lord, I tell you, um, just as I was finishing, oh man, I'm telling you, the squad has a sense of humor. Um, Let me see here. Oh my goodness, that's okay, okay. You know what, guys? All right, all right, all right. I'm done. I'm here I come. Let me see here. Okay, the squad, the squad. Stop it, squad. You guys are in quite a mood today, and you guys know why. I was listening to Pedal earlier, and anyway, let me get my slides up, and then I'll be ready to jump into things. My slides that I'm just literally messing with all the way up to the last second. But all shall be revealed very soon. Give me just a second here. All right. So let me say hello to a few people before we get started. My allergies are kicking my butt today. So I'm going to go all the way back to the very beginning because I know, all these comments already. Thank you so much, Elaine Parker, for being the first one here. Gwendolyn Daniels, Brenda Phillips, Sherry Ware, Annie Bullard, Mary H. Okay, Choda Cece. All right, so I'm just going to make sure that there are no super chats, and I'll say hello to everyone individually since I'm starting so late. But there's someone very special I have to say hello to. Connie Balmer. Hey, Connie Balmer. All right. Lydia Washington. I think you took the words right out of my mouth. Hello to all in the chat. Thank you so much. All in the chat. Hello. Okay. So I don't think there's any super chats. So, all right. Perfect. Okay, hold on. Sinus check. All right. So much for the sinus check. There we go. There we go. So let's just start with this right here. Let's talk about the British tabloid media. The British tabloid media, one of the least trusted institutions on the face of the earth. And why limited to British tabloid media when I could just say British media? I don't feel comfortable saying that because I don't like to condemn anybody else's home or anybody else's anything. And I know some of you all live there, but they have really worked hard um, for the disdain that so many people in this world feel about the big propaganda machine, the British tabloid media. Thank you so much, Elaine Parker, for the super sticker and for being a member of Royal Sussex. And happy Wednesday to you. Oh, it is Hump Day, isn't it? And it's also Prince Spaghetti Day. Yes, Prince Spaghetti Day. Thank you so much for that. The UK ranks 32nd out of 37 countries in Europe when it comes to people's trust in the written press, according to the latest annual EBU HQ survey. Here's the graphic. So this is from 2022, and I want to say this was but yeah, I don't think it's that old. I don't think it was from early in the year. I think it was from later in the year. Yeah, there's no date. So if you look all the way down there, I took the liberty of highlighting United Kingdom so it would be clearly seen by all observers that the United Kingdom um, is just below Turkey and Croatia, Slovenia, Spain, Lithuania, Hungary, Greece, but ahead of Bulgaria, North Macedonia, Serbia, Cyprus, and Bosnia Herzegovina. Now, isn't it amazing that I can say Bosnia Herzegovina and just think of how many things I cannot say? There should be a list like this, a graph that shows how many words, simple words, I am unable to say. But yet, Bosnia Herzegovina rolls out of my mouth like I'm telling the time of day. What time is it? Bosnia Herzegovina. Thank you. So, Judy, what is that? Is it Muktasid? Anyway, thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Many happy returns of the day. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. So, and with that, so let's get on with it. So, Britain's media gatekeepers are are no match for America. Just ask Prince Harry. So this, I know you guys went over this with Petal. So I'm just going to go over it briefly just to say that I did. All right. There we go. So the British media had gotten their way. Prince Harry's memoir Spare, released a fortnight ago. Is that 14 days or is that 20 days? Would have floundered. Oh, let me see. Fortnight. Yeah, that's 14 days. Yeah. Wow. I am so British now. Harry Hatchet Job memoir falls flat. Yeah, that's what one of the tabloids said. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do this. Okay, read the Daily Express, commenting on the lack of queues outside of bookshops on publication day. Prince Harry's bombshell book Spare is heading for the bargain bin. I remember that headline. Before it has been released, declared the Daily Mirror a few weeks ago. Elsewhere, the likes of Julia Hartley Brewer, Piers Morgan, and the rest of Britain's bombastic pundit class were suitably apoplectic. Most bizarre of all was the BBC ran stories of articles you'd instinctly associate with Take a Break magazine. Harry's memoir Spare displayed alongside How to Kill Your Family novel. Ran one piece, a book review. Apparently, they do those now. Declared Spare the weirdest book ever written by a royal. Another piece titled Why Americans Seem More Into Harry than Brits. These are all published the same day in an effort more akin to a coordinated PR campaign than a public service journalism. And yet, despite everything, Spare became the fastest selling nonfiction title in history, recording 1.4 million sales on its first day across the UK, US, and Canada. You know, I almost forget. I'm thinking first week, but no, 1.4 million sales the first day. So that being said, and by the way, this was an article from Novara Media. You know what? I didn't know that they had a. Oh my goodness, they do have a website. I watch them on YouTube all the time, but I had no idea that Novara Media had a website. Well, of course they should. It is 2023. Okay, I'm going to have to follow them. But anyway, Novara Media, some of you guys watched them already, is a bunch of young people, very smart young people. And sometimes Ash Suker appears on there, as well as, what's his name? Is it James Owens? He appears on there from time to time. So really cool, bright young people. And I actually contribute to them from time to time because I love the work that they do. So if you haven't been on the Novara Media, and then the other name they use is Tisky Sour. Anyway, I'm going to make sure that I add this to the community tab at some point, as well as a few other things that we cover today. So, great day for justice, for fair play, and of course for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. This is the type of message that they have been trying to get across even before they left that island. They were in no position to do it within the firm. And so outside of the firm, they have found some really powerful allies here in the United States. And of course, even before they set foot in the United States, one of the most powerful allies that they could have, of course, was Tyler Perry, who literally um, gave them shelter, loaned them his private jet. I mean, I have a house, it's already protected, and you can use my jet to get there. I mean, win win. And so, for 6 blissful weeks under the protective eyes of Princess Diana, if you guys remember that story about how Archie was so fascinated with this one painting. I suppose it was a classical scene. They never actually showed the painting. But upon inspection, our princess Megan noticed that the nameplate, and this was like after days and days of Archie enthralled with this painting, and they realized that it was the warrior, according to Greek mythology, the warrior Diana. And of course, it's very much an indication that Princess Diana has been watching over them probably from the first day. So um, that was quite comforting. So I can't help but think that Princess Diana's spirit has somehow been guiding things that we could not even imagine. Like, for instance, they're being led to safety and protection by people who heard this story and decided to pitch in and help. I'm just so grateful. Let's see here. Black Queen says US media can see the light sooner or later. UK gutter rags have zero journalistic credibility. Amen to that. Let's continue, shall we? And so, right here, thank you. Gift link below. I don't follow royal stuff, but the parallels between the awful role that the UK tabloids played in Brexit and how they behaved to Harry and Meghan, and the royal family rest of press playing ball with it prompted me to write this. So, me, of course, is, gosh, how do you say her name? Tufiki? Tufeki. So, Zeynep Tufeki. I hope I got that right. Anyway, so that was the author of the wonderful New York Times article about the British tabloid media and, of course, the Sussexes. So, if you haven't seen that one yet, it is all over Twitter. And, and the squatties have been dining on it for most of the morning and afternoon. So, let me see. Zeynep Tufeki, I think that's right. Opinion columnist. Any close follower of the British media should not have been surprised that after Prince Harry fell in love with Meghan Markle, the biracial American actress, years of vitriolic, even racist coverage followed, whipping hatred and spreading lies, including on issues far more consequential than the royal romance, is a specialty of Britain's atrocious but politically influential tabloids. Atrocious but politically influential tabloids. And you know what, guys? I have been saying for the longest, the same people that fuel this tabloid press are the same people that believe in Brexit. And they also, on this side of the Atlantic, are the MAGA people. They are the MAGA people. They seem to have this very close relationship. And demographically speaking, um, well, they're like the opposite sides of the same coin. Let me see. People like me, uninterested in celebrities, should dismiss the brouhaha around Harry's memoir as mere celebrity tittle tattle. He has made credible and documented claims that his own family refused to stand up against their ugly, sustained attacks against Meghan. In other words, it appears that Britain's most revered institution, funded by tens of millions in taxpayer funds annually, plays ball with one of its most revolting institutions. At the very least, it seems clear by now where some senior members of the royal families position themselves in all of this. Camilla, Camilla, Charles. Oh gosh, sorry about that. Oh man. Oh, Anna. Hi, Anna Espinoza. Them doggone allergies. Camilla, Charles. Oh, excuse me. So, I think at this point, I don't have to try to cover what I need to say with a sneeze or a cough. It is abundantly clear exactly who the guilty parties are. Leg says it's as if the UK tabloids need someone to hate to prevent the people from observing how the Tories unroyals are sinking the country. The US media joining in is weird because their media is anti American. Yes, yes. Well, legs. Let's think about this though. Let's follow that thread, shall we? I would dare say that President Trump, God, it took me a long time to be able to say president, that President Trump was anti American, but yet the anti American, anti establishment president seemed very popular with people who wake up every day and love to have somebody to hate or vilify. Now, it started with Barry Goldwater, some people would say. And then it continued with Ronald Wilson Reagan, 666. Ronald Reagan's famous thing he loved to say, or should I say his favorite thing, is if somebody knocks on the door and say, "Hi, I'm from the United States government and I'm here to help." Now, those words and that sentiment created so much apathy toward the federal government. He made himself out to be an outsider. But I'm going to tell you, two charismatic and shady Republican presidents had a lot in common. Reagan and Trump were first Democrats before they became Republicans. Reagan and Trump are both union card holders. They are the only presidents who have ever been in a labor union. Reagan with the Screen Actors Guild, and of course, Trump was on television. I'm more than certain he had some union card of some kind. But the thing is, all of those things they had in common, both of them had their own idea of dismantling the institutions that have made this country so great and so secure for so long. Now, yes, this country has not been a democracy for everyone involved all the time, but it is the stability of the United States government that gives its currency actual value around the world. And when you take away that stability, you can undermine everything. And yet, on January the 6th, Donald Trump did not mind crashing the entire thing. And he had lots of those MAGA people who, again, are pretty much Brexit people on the other side of the Atlantic that was willing to watch the entire thing go down in flames for the sake of a win. That is what is so disturbing, is that they would see all of us literally penniless so long as they can win, so long as they could somehow vilify black, brown, yellow, red, Asian, whatever people, as long as they can vilify them, they would be willing to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It did not matter. Thank you so much for the super chat, Legs, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Let me see here. Alma Andrews, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. So, yeah, the article is dynamic and it really calls, it's like a clarion call to anybody with common sense. This has to stop. They are undermining democracy as we know it. And the Sussexes unwillingly found themselves slap dab in the middle of a cultural war. And so, from time to time, you guys, I have to do the best that I can to calm nerves, not just on social media, not just on the YouTube, but even in my own personal life, because the stress of what's been happening these last few years, you know, I'm not one of those people who say it's never been that bad. It's always been bad someplace, and bad comes and goes for everybody. But the thing is, thanks to social media, thanks to the internet, everybody can have their 15 minutes. Everyone can stand on that soapbox or milk crate or whatever and hold court and get people to listen. I mean, they're just literally clicks away on the Twitter or whatever other social media, and people will listen to you, and you can amplify some of the most brilliant thoughts and you can amplify some of the most villainous, ridiculous thoughts. But if only it was a level playing field, because just when you thought it was safe to voice your opinion, here comes the bots and here comes the people, I guess, like in 2016 during the election, where they would hire people to troll on the social media. And so you think you're talking to a neighbor, but you're talking to some kid in Eastern Europe living quite well off of the money that's being paid by someone in the West to undermine elections or sow seeds of doubt. Anastasia Isabella says Ronald Reagan wasn't a good actor or even a good president at all, just in my opinion. Anastasia, I lived through those times. I remember when they almost took him out, and I remember when he got sworn in, and he scared the heck out of a lot of people for a good reason. And then at some point, he wasn't even altogether there. But, there was a pandemic when he was in office, another parallel to Donald Trump. There was a pandemic when Reagan was in office. And Reagan, instead of being in denial, he just didn't react at all. And so lots of funding and lots of information about the AIDS pandemic or epidemic, I'll just say epidemic, that's what it was. Um, it was ignored for a long time before he even publicly said the words. See what happens when you have someone charismatic who just doesn't give a darn in office? It can cost you everything. And then enters Bojo, Boris Johnson, who goes against every convention that you can think of. And he was just one of dozens of leaders around the world that were leading people down the path. And in between it all, you got Harry and Meghan, who became a pawn in a much bigger game. And we're like literally watching these tabloids try to destroy them. Thank you, Anastasia. Elaine Bab, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. So, the old gray lady, or the gray lady as they refer to it, I think, the New York Times. The New York Times have made quite a name for themselves over the years just by being one of the best newspapers in the world and one of the most prestigious. Now, they're not this big liberal entity. It's actually a very conservative paper, but they still carry a lot of influence. And back in the day when you had the big newspaper in every town, and of course, at a certain point, they had to create laws to prevent people from owning all these papers. But then again, the laws changed again. And so these big multinational companies can go in there and just buy whatever paper they want. Hopefully, the New York Times won't succumb to that type of pressure and can, keep their integrity intact. But believe me, if the likes of Rupert Murdoch thought he could buy the New York Times, I mean, he already has the New York Post. And I love the way they pretend like the New York Post and a lot of these other formats, they pretend like they're these American companies. Well, they get their marching orders from overseas, just like Fox News. So there's not much American about it, especially when you fill the halls with lots of royalist writers or American conservatives who wants to co-sign to all that madness. Hey, Mo Shannon, thanks for being here. So I have a lot of faith in New York Times. As a matter of fact, I am a subscriber. So right there, you have Prince Harry is right. Oh, and it's not just a matter of royal gossip. So that is what everyone has been clicking on the Twitter today. And there you can see one of the paragraphs right there, whipping hatred and spreading lies, including on issues far more consequential than a royal romance, is a specialty of Britain's atrocious but politically influential tabloids. And they are politically influential. And of course, if it wasn't for the tabloids, Brexit likely would not have happened. But um, they pander to a lot of fears. Ronald Reagan was the first person to name names to the House Un-American Activities Committee as a reward for doing that and getting McCarthy off the studio's back. Reagan was made president of the Screen Actors Guild. Yeah, and then he went on to become the governor of California. I mean, this guy was a terrible actor, and I love when Betty Davis was on the Tonight Show. And I think it was the Tonight Show, and she took a puff of a cigarette. She said, and he was terrible. She was at that age where she just didn't care anymore. He was terrible. And yes, he was a pretty bad actor at that, but very effective as a politician. I mean, he got into character like nobody else's business, but quite shallow otherwise. But just like when William went out there and spoke those words about his mother was made paranoid and tried to blame Panorama for his mother's truth telling, um, that was Ronald Reagan. You just give him the words and he will sing like Aretha Franklin. So, anyway, let me go here. So, this guy right here, Nick Fox, has been an editor at the Times since 1995, having previously worked as the assignment editor on the national desk in the dining section and with online opinions forum room for debate. He previously worked for Newsday and the Bergen Records. He has a BA from Binghamton University and a MA from the Columbia University Graduate School of Journalism. So he actually chimed in on this article. So not only did you have people outside of the New York Times applauding this article, but I would imagine this is one of her peers, and in that very fine print that you see there, it says, "Have you heard enough about Harry and Meghan? Could you not care less? But the whole kerfuffle, what is it, kerfuffle? Oh boy, what do people get words like that? Is that like old German kerfuffle?" Well, the Times columnist Zednep Tufekci is not one of the following celebrity gossip, or I'm sorry, not one to follow celebrity gossip or the latest royal tittle tattle, but she thinks there's something important to understand about the accusations Prince Harry makes in his new book, Spare, and in the Netflix documentary he and his wife made. Their story is not just a family melodrama. As Harry watched the years long campaign of hatred and even racism the British tabloids unleashed on Meghan, who is mixed race, he understood that these vile publications were not wholly independent actors. They had the acquaintance, if not cooperation, of his father, stepmother, and brother. Oh, did he just put that out there? Zednip shows that the established uh, commemorate or compadres, that is, with malignant voices of the press and leaking damaging information against one family member in exchange for good coverage of another have been common practices for years. In other words, Zeynep, Zeynep writes, it appears that Britain's most revered institution, funded by tens of millions in taxpayers' funds annually, plays ball with one of the most revolting institutions. And she says, given how those tabloids played a major role in key events, including Brexit, where they also stoked outrage with unhinged lies and racism, even people uninterested in the royal drama might want to take another look at why this media environment needs reforming. Needs reforming. I agree, Adrian Burrow. Ronald Reagan sucked. So there you have it. This was a long time coming, but there has been other times, but it's not exactly the death of the tabloid media. And as much as I love this image of the vulture sitting on top of the carcasses of Fleet Street, oh my goodness, I like that. That is kind of poetic. The carcasses of Fleet Street. I like that. Feel free to quote me. The carcasses of Fleet Street. Um, it's not the end. It's not the end. And as for reform, I'm not very optimistic about that. Reform will come when it comes and however it comes. But when it does happen, and it will, you can thank Prince Harry for that. And of course, Duchess Meghan. But Prince Harry is the one who has been really pushing this. And I think if you look back to that day when Harry gave that speech, it was nighttime, and I don't remember where the speech took place, where he said that, and it was also mentioned in the book when he said that people thought that he was crazy. His father was like, "Oh, this is a um, whatever Prince Charles, now King Charles III, said about it." Um, Everybody tried to discourage him from doing it. Well, I'm going to say most people in his life probably tried to discourage him from it, but sometimes you just have to hold steadfast, and you have to stand your ground. You have to fight your corner. And so it really is very much like a David and Goliath story, which is why I love to use that example. That, as you can see, the very stern gaze of the David statue as he faced down Goliath, as he took a measure. And that's what Harry has been doing for the past couple of years, is that he has been taking a measure of his foe, and he has also been gathering his stones so that when the time comes, he can actually have an effective defense or offense, if you will. I guess it's an offense and defense. Either way, however you look at it, he's standing his ground. And as quite a few people have said, this is not just for his sake or for Meghan's sake, but it's an opportunity for him to say to his children, this is what I've done. This is how I have tried to make things right. Or hopefully he can say, this is how I made things right. So when this particular David, Henry Charles Albert David Mountbatten-Windsor, when this one has to speak to his children about how the war began and how it ended, and of course, how we won. We can all have these permanent records, like, for instance, the docu-series, the book, and even some parts of the podcast. And of course, Megan herself is going to come out with a book. There's been so many people writing books and telling their story, and now they have finally stood up, in the past few months to take center stage and tell their own story. And it's making a difference. I mean, now is the payoff. So, right here, you can see this is when I really fell in love with the New York Times. We're so racist. We drove Meghan Markle. I'm sorry, we drove out Meghan Markle. And that was from Tom Leonard. He said, as he frothed it at his mouth about how unfair it was that the New York Times would dare call them out. So this isn't the first time they have been called out. At least to my knowledge, it's probably the third or fourth time. Why does America's smuggest newspaper have such a pathological loathing for Britain? We dine on boiled mutton. The economy is falling apart. Well, he got the economy part right. And we're so racist, we drove out Meghan Markle. Not everybody, just people on Fleet Street and some of the pensioners and haters, but not everybody. Examine another New York Times howitzer. So he's comparing articles from the New York Times to a missile. And then, of course, down there at the bottom, it says the hot headed reporter in the latest edition of Serial, the hit U.S. true crime podcast run by New York Times, can hardly contain his fury about the rampant blah, blah, blah. So, thank you, Gray Lady. It takes a New Yorker to tell you to your face. You know what I mean? It really takes a New Yorker to look you in the eye and tell you exactly how they feel. And by the way, as I said yesterday, things have been going so terribly wrong with that Tory government. London is no longer the wealthiest city in the world. Now it's New York City. New York's um, is the wealthiest city in the world. Now, how could you lose something like that? Just keep putting those Tories in there. Just keep putting those Tories in there. So, this is the person who wrote one of my favorite articles. My God, says Piers Morgan, New York Times publishes a shameful trashing of Britain and our royal family, including demands for the monarchy to be dismantled. Well, she said what she said. She said what she said. Let me see. This is what the Sussexes have done with all their lies. The Sussexes have lied, made the world view us as a bunch of callous racists. Um, does he own a mirror? Can he hear himself, or has he been able to like watch some of his stuff on repeat? I mean, if the shoe fits, this is a man, that hoghead Pierce Morgan, who routinely loves to call out women of color, and his favorite seems to be black women. It's always, and he even just had like, I read something where he was like going after um Lady Gaga, and I forget who the other person was, uh where they um and it's an old article. It's an old article, but they were saying that I'm trying to avoid the word because I don't want to get in trouble with the algorithm, but it had to do with someone taking liberties with their body. Okay. And so he mentions in that article, and I didn't save it because I never wanted to see it again. But he's like, no police report, no date. They didn't name names. And so something as awful as that, I mean, if something like that happened to Pierce Morgan, and I'm not wishing anything bad on him, But if someone took liberties with that vicious bowl of jello that he calls a body, and he found himself traumatized by it, or as I would say, shocked that anybody was interested in him, but he found himself traumatized by it, I wonder how fast he would run down to the local police station, or how fast he would name names or dates. Or for some people, all you want to do is get away from that moment, especially in particular if you're a young woman who, or any woman, you just want to get away from that moment. It really takes an intervention sometimes to get people to speak about it or even press charges. And for Pierce Morgan to say something like that, it just goes to show you how out of touch and how malicious he is. And that's what he does for a living. That is what he does for a living. He does not deserve a platform, and neither does Jeremy Clarkson. None of those people deserve a platform, but yet somehow they manage to find their way onto the algorithm every time you open up your Google or your YouTube or Facebook or your Instagram or whatever news source that you have or information source. There he is, a bully, a fraud, and a bully. And he has clear access into your psyche. The only thing you can do is try to block, try to ignore. And like I said, I had no chance of wanting to save that article because I don't ever want to see it again. Because I hate to see that anybody can be that cruel and malicious. And I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to come across it again. But that was absolutely cruel. So right here it says, when Prince Harry met and married the American actress Meghan Markle, we saw in real time just how high a price the crown was willing to extract from an outsider, up to and including her life. So Roxanne Gay writes for the New York Times, if you guys would like to see that article, there's her name right there, Roxanne Gay. You can search it out. And if my hat rack that I'll call a head can remember, I got a bunch of stuff that I'm going to put on the community tab. So I will share that with you guys later. Black Queen says, oh, that is for someone else. Beverly Isidore says, Pierce Morgan and the other haters are calling on the royal family to take their titles from Prince Harry and Meghan, but the world and the Commonwealth countries are watching the royal family to see if they will do it. Well, Beverly Isidore, this is the same institution that brutalized Harry and Meghan at the Queen's funeral. And they were disappointed that they could not brutalize Meghan at Philip's funeral. They only had Harry to pick on. And of course, they bullied them for the Jubilee. So even with the Queen, who was on the throne for 70 years, they just didn't care. And now that it's Charles and Camilla in the driver's seat, I think they would care even less. And what gets me though, and I hate to keep saying that I'm so shocked by this, that this plays out in real time across the airways, and they don't care what anybody thinks. They just don't care. And it's just like, let's say someone um, from New England, and they have grown up in a society where slavery did not exist or hadn't exist for decades, and then they find themselves doing business in the South and seeing slavery face to face for the first time. I've seen it depicted in movies, and you know it is only acting, it is only a storyline, so we don't know in the real world what would happen. But if someone of a certain pious faith or whatever who was against slavery, and let's say their faith say that it's incompatible with the world as they know it, would go and see that, I see that the same way with the British tabloid media, or just the British media. Um, this is the way we do things. This is the way it is. And we don't care if you don't like it. And when I heard someone compare the British media's obsession with Meghan as treating her like a runaway slave, as much as that made me wince like a punch in the gut, I could not disagree with it because it is very much the runaway slave mentality that they feel like she owes them something. They treat her like she's property for a wedding that she did not want in the first place. I believe both Sussexes were very satisfied to do something less, but because of Harry's position, they had to have more. Who would want such invasion on their wedding day? But that was necessary to appease the rules as they were, and so that's what happened. And so that is like number one, we paid for the wedding, and then number two, the Frogmore Cottage, and of course, let's not forget the couple days of nice headlines followed by more vitriol and hostility. And then that just disintegrated into all Sussex all the time. An endless attack on a woman, even while she's pregnant and at her most vulnerable state, the attacks continue. And that's just the way it's been all this time. So, right here, woke New York Times sparks outrage over another opinion piece demanding that Britain's racist royal family is dismantled and that Meghan Markle had to pay with her own life to marry into the institution. Interesting how they twist that uh, from what Piers Morgan said to what was actually in the article. So they were all over the place with it. But again, I'm glad that article happened. And let me see, what the heck was here that's not there? Oh, well, we'll never know. Uh, Something went wrong with that slide. I don't know what happened, but we'll never know. It won't even matter. So, and although the Windsors have the BBC and Fleet Street, Harry has Netflix, Spotify, Penguin, and a smorgasbord of U.S. chat show hosts when it comes to winning the hearts of Britain's under 50s. The country's most powerful clan is holding a pea shooter in a gunfight. So that comment came from someone on social media, and I and it's I told you guys when I put something in the red square like that, that means it's a quote. And when I saw that, I'm just like, wow, that is amazing. So I decided, what a better photo to group that with or couple with than Harry and Meghan embracing in front of the American flag. How sweet, how poetic. And so here, how about this? So it continues. Maywood University online news source. In the Netflix original series Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex told the story of their relationship as well as intimate and vulnerable details about the way that the British press treated Meghan and the effects it had on her mental health. So, as some people have said, the docu-series was about Meghan, but this book is Harry's deal. So, um, I felt a bit shortchanged because I was hoping that they were going to go and promote the docu series, like actively promote it. But I know that wouldn't make sense because it gives too much room for mischief. So, plus with the book coming soon thereafter, it wouldn't have made sense. But um, I wanted to see them out and talking about the docu series, but it's better this way. The Sussexes have a plan for the way they do things, and I guess I'm being kind of selfish when I say I just want to see more of them, but I do want to see more of them, and I was hoping that just like with the Spotify, I was hoping that there was going to be some type of press tour with that, but it wasn't meant to be, and it's better this way because all of these things are coming together for the big picture. And so, even though we would like to see more of them more often, it just makes sense for them to do things the way that they want to do it. So, I'm a little disappointed, but I'll take what I can get. So, in that article, what is the name of this? Maywood. Oh yeah, Maywood University. I never heard of that before. I don't even know where they're located. But in the Netflix original series, Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, told the story of their relationship, as well as intimate and vulnerable details about the way that the British press treated Meghan and the effects it had on her mental health. The show starts with a romantic story of a modern day fairy tale, a couple falling in love via Instagram DMs. However, concurrent with the scene of a husband and wife describing the circumstances under which they met, a darker storyline is revealed. Persistent and dangerous paparazzi, it says. Harry was no stranger to photographers and tabloids, being born into one of the most famous families in the world. However, after Harry and Meghan's relationship went public, Meghan would completely change. Paparazzi hounded Meghan and her family members, sleeping in cars outside of Meghan's home, following her mom vehicles, and harassing her friends and family for information or photographs. So this article mostly focuses on, let me go down to this one right here. Episode 3, the gold digger trope. Episode 3 highlights the article that plays into the gold digger trope, a cliche that insinuates that if a woman marries a man that is wealthy, she must be using him for his money. And then we find out that they had to put a sofa on Meghan's credit card in that little shack they were living in. I mean, I never saw it that way. And I was always pained by the idea of it, that people would insinuate such things. And in particular, when it was a woman of color saying these things, in particular, if there was a black woman saying these things. And I believe that was when I turned against that talk show host who seems to not know what day, week, or month it is. That was when I turned against her. Um, that was always painful for me to hear, especially when you learn and you know about Meghan, and to hear someone insinuate those kind of things is an insult. So, did not like that. So, let's go here. So, universities, not universities, but um, libraries around the country, as you know, you have people on waiting lists, hundreds of people in some cases on a waiting list for Spare. Prince Harry's new book is making its way to our branches, and we are royally excited. This popular book already has lots of holds on it, so it might be hard to find a spare copy. No pun intended, of course. Um, do you know how much traffic there's going to be in these local libraries because of Spare? Now, it's not exactly a Harry Potter phenomenon, but for a nonfiction, it kind of is. It really is a Harry Potter phenomenon. So, what do you want to do? Um, it just goes to show that Harry telling his truth is more compelling than all those books filled with lies. All those books filled with lies cannot, like for instance, Tom Barrow. Tom Barrel. Tom, he looks like he needs an enema barrel. Is it Barrow? Bauer? Tom Bauer. Tom Bauer really thought his book was going to have this huge impact, that people were going to knock themselves down because he has all this information, all this dirt. I remember all the threats. Once I take my pen to it, and they tried to hype him up and make a big deal out of it. Womp womp. The book barely sold. And of course, there were all the other books barely sold. It was a dismal dud. I mean, it was ineffective. A big fat nothing burger. I hope he got the enema that he so desperately needs, because that would explain that very pensive look he has on his face. By the way, you guys, there's 1,611 people in the live today. Please make sure you click on the like button. Also, if you are not subscribed, please make sure you are subscribed to Royal Sussex. And also, feel free to share Royal Sussex. All right, moving on. Right here. Here's another university, Macquarie. Anyway, that place right there. Post-traumatic stress disorder and unresolved grief are both terms that are being used frequently in the media following the release of Prince Harry's memoir. Professor Maria Kangas explains what they are and how they can be treated. This is a book that is going to start 1,000 conversations, 1,000,000 conversations. There are so many people that are going to. I remember when Oprah said that she wants people to be able to speak about mental well being, mental health, mental illness freely. That was her goal with the Me You Can't See. But it took the Me You Can't Be, Prince Harry, to actually write this book that I think is having, I don't know, I don't want to say a greater impact just yet, but I'm thinking it's having a greater impact than the Me You Can't See, because it caused a panic amongst those individuals on Fleet Street. It has been something to rattle their cage. I mean, they rattled that cage so hard, feathers are flying everywhere. You can hear the little beak banging up against the bars of the cage. All kind of things are going on because Harry's book is out there. And so, thanks to Harry, these conversations are definitely taking place. It is, you know, I guess you couldn't call it a self-help book, but he tells his story. And once you go through the book, you find that there are certain things that just jump off the pages at you that reminds you about your own life, that reminds you about your own struggles. And to think that these things could happen to a prince of the realm, a prince of the blood, not just, a common working person, but a person who looked to the queen as his commander in chief, someone who still, from his own words, believe in believe in the idea of monarchy, but not the version that we see today, not that monarchy. And there is a lot of good that can come of it if it's properly executed. I mean, like Willem Alexander is his name, of the Netherlands. Um, and of course, the Prince of Liechtenstein, the sovereign Prince of Liechtenstein, and others. I mean, there is some good that can be done. They're not perfect people, but there is some good that can be done. So, it's not, but that is publicly funded, and that they have the ability to be used as a tool of the Tory party or even the Labour Party. That's where the problems are coming from. that's when you have to really take notice and say, okay, maybe this ain't working out. So there's always going to be, there's always going to be a royal family. None of the royal families ever completely go away. That's not the point. But the influence and the public funding, that can go. Okay, that can go. They just buried the king of Greece, and he was living in exile from his country. So he can still keep the title, but the influence, the undue influence that you have over people, that can go. So, um, as a matter of fact, that has to go. Okay. Are you guys ready for a little messy? Are you guys ready to be just a little messy? Let me do a break beat. Well, well, well. Another episode of Cosplay Kate. Yes, it's another riveting, thrilling episode of Cosplay Kate. Well, you guys, as I just said, undue influence, and of course, publicly funded. So, if you had a kingdom where the sovereign just lost his mother, he's inherited possibly billions of dollars, and he hasn't paid any tax on that inheritance. Why should he? I mean, he's the sovereign. He is above reproach. He is ordained by God. Let him tell it. And so, despite all of the carnage that was left in the wake of the empire, such as, the Caribbean, India, Australia, Africa, they forgot the Americas. They didn't include North America. Well, anyway, despite all of that carnage left behind, like here it says, Your Majesty, there's another carriage that needs sorting and burying for good. So he is expecting the new golden carriage, right? But let's stay with Kate, shall we? Cosplay Kate. So today, Kate had to show people that 350 million pounds that is annually spent on the royal family to cut ribbons, to nod and wink, and everything else they do is not going to waste. Case in point, binder, check. There is Kate with her binder and looking very smart, might I add, in a Alexander McQueen sports jacket. Right. So there's Kate, and it almost sounds, a bit redundant to say Kate and smart in the same sentence, but looking very smart. Weird. I can't even hardly wrap my brain around that. And then, of course, hyena grin. Check. There's Kate sitting at the table in the green room of Buckingham Palace with that big gaping grin that she's so famous for. So you have to check that one off the list too. Gee, I wonder what else is on. I wonder what else is on the list. Touch a black person. Check. Reach out and touch somebody black, and don't let the world think you like that. Reach out and touch somebody black so the world won't think that you're like that. Yes, she's reaching out to touch a black person again. It wouldn't be Kate if she did like, now that's a howitzer missile for you. There's Kate, like a howitzer, like a heat seeking missile in search of a person with ample melanin that she can touch for the sake of the cameras. Oh, and look at this. She's making direct eye contact. She's leaning in, but she's not done yet, you guys. Last Supper pose. Check. There's Kate with her head tilted to the side, just like the famous mural of the Last Supper. Drinking it all in, I would suppose. Oh, don't she look very serene and angelic as she sits there with a table full of people. There's another person who would do this. Oh yeah, I know. Donald Trump. Donald Trump loved to sit at the head of the table and pretend like he is in control. I mean, they sent this poor, fragile individual, um, you forgot your binder. And of course, she says, pardon, ma'am? What? There's nothing in it. We know, Mom, but you have to take it, Mom. Ma'am, you have to take it so you look smart. So she grabs that binder and she has upped her game. Have you guys noticed that she has an ink pen? Yes, she even has an ink pen. She is totally in character. Hair blow dried, extensions attached, right? And then blow dried. And then she has her binder. She has her late mother in law's engagement ring, a very smart suit, and she is ready to play with the big boys and girls. And so there she is, sitting near a person of color on each side. And there she is, even touching a black person, posing like she's at the Last Supper. And then, of course, her breadth of knowledge and understanding are unremarkable. I can almost guarantee you that no matter what was said or done in this meeting, she hadn't the first clue. This is another one of those scathing plans for child care development, et cetera, where they say the most important thing is to look busy. If you're not really busy, if you don't really know, the important thing is to look busy and act like you know. So let's go through the checks again. Binder, check. Hyena Grand, check. Touch a black person, check. Last Supper pose, check. And lastly, pretend like you understand the conversation that is taking place around you. So there is all kind of coverage of this in the propaganda papers in Great Britain. Great Britain, once the most powerful country in the world, is reduced to having this person as their standard bearer, someone who can barely hold a conversation, let a I don't get that RCA dog. What is the name of that dog? Kipper or Skipper? Why does she do the RCA dog thing with the ear? You know what I mean? I forget the name of that dog, but why does she do that all the time? It's like anytime she's in a meeting or she has to listen to someone, that head start listening to the side like the Andrea Doria. You know what I'm saying? The Andrea Doria began to list, and it took months for that thing to sink. And the same with Kate. Her head is listening to the side, but it is going to take an act of parliament for her to understand what the conversation is. I think I saw this posted on their royal family thing, and I was like, should I? No, I'm not gonna mess with them. I really wanted to. I really wanted to, but I said nah. Uh, leave her alone. I don't want to spoil the illusion. I mean, they've gone through so much trouble, so um, I'll let them figure out what Kate be like. But as they say, nice work if you can get it. So that's what's in the latest news for Will and Kate is this pretense that's going on. Binder, blazer, um, and you know what, guys? The story takes a different turn too. So first they decided they would share that with us, but hold on one second. Let me do this, and I'll show you what I mean because they weren't through with that yet. But in the meantime, waste no opportunity to be shady. So let me get this going. Let me get this going. Cause Kate be like, what does Kate be like?
people who aren't necessarily reaching out, who are struggling, who perhaps don't feel they can reach out, or the fact that, maybe they haven't, realized that addictive behaviors have sort of established.
Have you ever had a dreams that you want him to do you so much you could do anything? Have you ever had a dreams that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
Now, to be fair to Kate, there was a time when they used to dub those Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. So I haven't seen any video footage of this meeting today, but I can only imagine the lengths that they have gone through to try to make her look smart. But that's you all know this picture destroys me every time I see it. So Lydia says, Baron, can you remind the people who Black Queen and Sherry wear one to bless with an address book need? Oh, an address is what did I say? Address book. An address is needed. Yes. So yesterday I shared. Was it yesterday or day before yesterday? I shared my email, which I will share with you guys soon, and. Now, I did share it. Now, I'm not saying I looked at it, but I did share it. Eventually, we'll get there. But I did share that. Let me take a look at that email right now and see if anybody. Okay, I see right here it says spare request. All right, so let me give you guys that email, and then we'll sort this out. Oh man, we will have this sorted. Let me get that email for you. Oh no, not that one. Let me see here. So I'm going to post that email to the top of the chat, and we are going to sort this out very soon. All right. And you guys that have emailed me already about the book, there we go. I promise you, I will address it by the end of this week. Let me see here. So yes, I can see that you emailed me. I just haven't looked at them yet. So there's that. And now let me peg that to the top of the chat. I'm going to do like Willie and peg it. Okay. Peg it to the top of the chat. Wait, did that not work out like I wanted it to? Let me see here. Oh, okay. Yeah, there it is. The Royal Sussex channel email is right there. There you go. Thank you so much, you guys. And thank you, Lydia. So, oh, man. I would love to like blow that picture up and put it on a billboard somewhere. Today's episode of what did I call this? Wait. I forgot what I called another episode of Cosplay Kate. Yes. So today's episode of Cosplay Kate was brought to you by Cambridge Curl. No lie, Royal Relaxer. Give your hair a whirl with Cambridge Curl. Cambridge Curl. The no lie, Royal Relaxer. Cambridge Curl. If you want your hair like Kate's, Cambridge Curl. Or if you just want your hair like somebody that Kate touched, Cambridge. The no lie Royal Relaxer. Also, today's episode of Cosplay Kate was brought to you by Deuces. Deuces, Deuces is the only way to show your contempt for somebody getting all up in your face with their face. And when I say their face, I'm talking about this one. It's the only way to show your contempt for somebody getting up all up in your face and using your status as a person of color to try to look in touch. So uh, today's Royal Sussex and Cosplay Kate was brought to you by Cambridge Curl and Deuces. So back up, Deuces. And also, if you guys are lucky, you'll also get a chance to have some free tickets to Kate Middleton Jazz Hands, where you'll get a chance to see that Cambridge Curl wearing Deuces throwing demented looking royal princess live on stage with her jazz hands. So that's it. Oh, let me see. um oh, someone just sent me a cash app. I won't say the name, but thank you so much for that, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Okay. Just a little messy. So take a look here. You can't really have something like this happen without bringing in Harry and Meghan. Now, this article about all of that stuff ran earlier. Let me show you. So all of this stuff happened earlier today, and I guess it wasn't getting the traction that they wanted. So then they decided to come back with this. Treasures of Windsor Green Drawing Room. Princess of Wales hosts meeting in opulent 17th century parlor designed by George IV, where Harry and Meghan took their wedding photos. Um, so it wasn't enough that this farce happened in the first place. It wasn't enough that she managed to stammer her way through whatever this meeting was, something about childcare, the thing that took 10 years to develop, the 5 questions, that one. It wasn't enough that that happened, but you have to, excuse me, you have to drag the Sussexes in it so that people will pay attention to it. Because without Megan's name thrown in there, who would ever take notice of it? So there you go. Um, 3 curtains designed by Pamela Lewis. Who cares? Thomas Parker center table. So let's see. One moral and Satan's. This kind of stuff right here. Let me tell you why this is so ridiculous. At a time when people are watching the utter collapse of, or I should I say, the likely collapse of the NHS, do you think people give a toss about Kate in a power suit pretending to be smart and talking about child care development, especially pensioners who have been there, done that? Do you think they really care? You see how ridiculous this is? Hey, lady, your slip is showing. Do you see how ridiculous this is? Is this supposed to win favor amongst the masses because you have the ability with your unearned income, with your inevitable ascension to the throne, to throw this little party where you look smart, sitting like you're at the Last Supper in this very opulent room that is not available to the public? That's how stupid they are. I mean, that is stupid. The daily fail that you lean on to big yourself up is going to be the entity that tears you down. How dumb is this at this time? Ah, God save them from themselves. Prince Harry's doing the best he can, but this is going to take a better intervention than that. So, what is that? Cloud Nugget Princess Megan. There's a Twitter I just found today, and they posted this, and all the pics with black people and black kids have so far failed. So the Palace crew are trying something new. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, I'm telling you, the squad has no shortage of humor. The squad has no shortage of humor. I mean, it just gets better and better. But the way things go, you really do need to laugh to keep from crying sometimes. So, uh, if you can't beat them, join them. Or if you can't deceive them, crimp your hair. I guess that's the. Oh, man. Oh, Meadowlark Sourpuss. Yeah, the tall one is not Meadowlark Lemon, it's Meadowlark Sourpuss. I know, right? Right? Yeah, I'm not responsible for this one. Someone else put this together, but I think it's brilliant. Now, let's go here. People are very happy to read everything about Harry and Meghan when somebody else writing about them says the filmmaker, but Harry and Meghan want to tell their story in their own words. It's suddenly become an issue. Liz Garvis, who is the director of the Harry and Meghan um, docuseries, you can see a little behind the scenes of how they were able to film this. And, it's changed her perspective having created this series. So, um, actually, you know what? I don't have that article handy, but I did see, I think it was Vanity Fair. So you can read about that one in the Vanity Fair. But as I said, or someone said it, when writing the story of your life, don't let anyone else hold the pen. Now, Cold War Steve has been at it again. So, Cold War Steve took something that I imagine is an American thing because I see the dollar signs, or is it French? Capitalism. Let me see. Oh, Noreen Bagali, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Well, there you have capitalism. We rule you. Um, we pull you. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, no, fool you. We fool you. And okay, so there's capitalism, and then there's the government, and then there's religion, and then there's we shoot at you. And then all the way down there at the bottom, you can see the working class people literally holding up the aristocrats or the one percenters. Well, if you look there on the left side, Cold War Steve, and I'm sorry that I couldn't zoom in on these details for you, but I think that's Rishi Sunak and Charles up there at the top. And then, of course, you have the media people, including Musk and is that Murdoch? And I don't know who the other guy is. And then, of course, the police, which is to keep people from protesting. And then further down, there's the likes of, is that Boris Johnson? I don't know who those people are. I can't see them. But again, there's the working class people. I'm sorry, a very modern interpretation of them holding the whole entire pyramid up. So, Cold War Steve has outdone himself again. As you can see, he's managed to take a classical image like that and make something very timely out of it, something very modern out of it. So it's very interesting that he got rid of the armies and he just replaced them with the police. So there you go. Now, Prince Andrew's accuser, Virginia Giuffre, signs a memoir deal worth millions. Again, sources. And of course, Andrew, as you know, has put together a war chest. In other words, his mommy's money that he inherited. You guys, I don't think anything's going to come of this. Andrew wants the privilege of being at the coronation. Andrew will be at the coronation, but whether or not he has a role to play is going to be a matter of public sentiment. So if the public demands what the tabloids tell them that the public want, so that again, the tabloids are going to tell the public that this is what you want, right? And of course, there are certain sectors of the population that will say, yes, we need this overstuffed, overindulged teddy bear squeezing. Okay, I'll stop right there. We need him there. It just won't be a coronation without him. So we'll see how it goes. But watch this space, as Rachel Maddow says. And then, of course, in the house, there is Charles III. Now, someone else has come up with a whole new outfit for Charles. As you know, there was a more buttoned down look that somebody has come up with. But this one, especially given his advanced age, someone on Twitter, this was that last thing I found that almost derailed the whole show because I almost fell on the floor when I saw it. But, you know, if Charles wants to try to tone things down for the inauguration, he could definitely pull this off. It's casual, it's comfortable, it's plenty room for those childbearing hips and droopy shoulders. And of course, there's not the stigma of wearing those pantyhose because, as you can see here, they had a look for Charles. If he went in the most traditional way, it would include pantyhose with the ballet slippers, a pair of pedal pushers, also known as breeches, and then, of course, the ermine robe, which means that they need the belly of young elk or something like that. Disgusting. And of course, shoulder pads, because as you know, Charles has those rather droopy shoulders. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not it. But Charles has those rather droopy shoulders with those childbearing hips that are so unsightly. So they need something that will kind of, you know, give him some definition. So one way to achieve that would be by, you know, using shoulder pads and a control top pantyhose. Got to have control top because see, without a control top, see what happens? You got to have a control top pantyhose, hose. Otherwise, things can go south or east. I guess east. So, you know, for the sake of everybody involved, even if he doesn't, you know, wear the breeches or pedal pushers or whatever, still throw those control top pantyhose in there, just to say we did. Oh man, it's too much fun, isn't it? I know. Uh, you're welcome. I mean, just take a look. You got the legs everyday control top pantyhose, right? You got the ballet slippers, also known as the Little Debbie snack cake slippers, and shoulder pads. You can still get those on eBay. You can get a set of 6 shoulder pads, or you can get a set of 12. Those shoulder pads will actually give you some, because look at how droopy his shoulders are. He needs them. He needs those shoulder pads because it's a 73-year-old man who's finally getting a job. Now, some people might say in his advanced years, he needs to be comfortable. I guess it's a personal choice, but I personally I like this one though. I like the denim outfit. It's fly, it's chic, You got that nice duster. You see what I'm saying? I like the way the coat kind of sweeps. That way you don't have the fussiness of a train. And of course, there's other members of the family who have had great success wearing those maxi coats. Like, for instance, Edwina. Edwina can wear the maxi coats like nobody else's business. And see how Chuck is playing with the red liner? Same thing, same flavor. So I don't know. You guys, I guess I should have a vote for this, but I'm gonna go with the denim. This is too voluminous, right? And plus, it screams control top pantyhose. All right. So a few days after, I'm sorry. As a matter of fact, I can't actually do that one. I'll just leave that there for you to look at. After a few days out of the public eye, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, have been spotted doing whatever the frappuccino they want, wherever the front door they want to do, because they are grown. And again, someone in the Sussex squad wrote this: adults who make their own money and don't owe anyone crap. According to Sussex Insider, there's an insider for them, huh? The couple will soon resume living rent free in the minds of facially challenged misogynists like Jeremy Clarkson and, of course, professional liar Camilla Tominey. So there you have it. That's what's going on with them. And of course, yes, the Sussexes are living rent free in their heads. So, with that, I am going to come over here and take a look at your comments. Don't forget to hit that like button. And also, don't forget to subscribe and share and all those fun things. Don't forget to do that. So, comments. What say you? Let me scroll back a little bit and see what I missed here. Ungodly that York will be there, and the UK press campaign against Harry and Meghan not to be invited. Yeah, they said, what was that? They said the immigrants in. Oh, here's another. Yeah, that was Cold War Steve from yesterday. Let me see. Facially challenged. Do you guys think Jeremy Clarkson? Oh, never mind. I just answered my own question, didn't I? Jeremy Clarkson, the love child of Nancy Cope and Jim Neighbors. I would say he's facially challenged. I just don't know how anything as androgynous and girly looking like that could grow up and become a complete beast. How did he turn into that? What caused that to happen? I mean, he's what, 63 years old? What's that? Baron, no comments. You've been making us all laugh too much to chat. I hear you. B10 says, I like the stockings and ballet. Okay. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Or let's stay away from that. Let's stay away from that. Dun, 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 dun. It's the old Krabby Man suite, not the Nutcracker suite. Just the old Krabby King suite. Could you imagine Charles pimping down the aisle of Westminster Abbey dressed like that in 2023? That is truly the portrait. A portrait. Gosh, did I almost sound like Barbara Walters? The portrait. That is Woolley the Wartwitch that Norman Rockwell regat the paint. Oh man. But yeah, let me see here. Oh, and in case you missed it yesterday, yellow T-shirt guy has some competition now. There is now the Scottish T-shirt guy, the Scotland T-shirt guy. Well, I guess yellow T-shirt guy is from Scotland too, right? But anyway, their yellow T-shirt guy has some competition. Let me see here. Debira Bowen says his teeth are effed up. My goodness, my granddad died at 94, and his teeth were a heck of a lot better than this money. Dental care must be expensive. Well, Jeremy Clarkson is a monster. He is truly a monster. A monster. Okay, you guys, let me see. Oh, is he 62? Jeremy Clarkson is 62 years old and look like that. How come Angela Bassett, Queen Ramonda, is 1 year older and looks gorgeous? Well, Jeremy Clarkson has evil in his heart. That's the evil. Oh, this is what I was looking for. There you have it. Shame on them. This is what the world sees. Britain, the very modern nation of Britain, a place where you can find British exceptionalism, a melting pot in London, of course, and other cities in Britain. And this is what the world sees. And they don't care. They don't care that the world sees this. Not at all. Oh, well. It's not my fight. Well, not for him anyway, or the fight to keep him out of there. That they want him there, and I don't have anything to say about it. As a matter of fact, do let the Duke of York go. Please have him at the coronation. And I hope that Virginia's book, ooh, wouldn't that be something if Virginia's book comes out on Archie's birthday? Ooh, I didn't think about that. What if Virginia Giuffre's book comes out on Archie's birthday? Huh? Huh? What about that? Yes, please have him there. It's not my fight. I agree. I do believe that the Duke of York should go to the coronation. I wholly agree with that. And I hope that that kid from Scotland, the one who called him a sick old man, I hope that he's also at the coronation. And when William comes down the aisle, I hope one of his old friends is at the coronation. I want everyone to be there. I insist. Welcome one and all. I insist. Let me see. Let me see if I can find William's friend. There he is.
That's Prince. Trenchtown wants $245 billion. That's what Trenchtown wants. $345 billion. Yes, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what Trenchtown wants. Yes. What do you mean?
Yeah, when William goes walking down the aisle, nothing would please me better than hearing the cry of Trenchtown Man as he presents William with that bill of sales for all of their transgressions in the Caribbean. Hey, Prince. Trenchtown wants $335 billion. What do you mean? Oh man. Yeah, I want him to be there when Trenchtown Man comes down the aisle. And by the way, you guys, if I can share this with you again, I got this amazing French visual dictionary and this beautiful coffee mug. Look at that. Or tea. And what I love is that nice contrast. See how it has the blue in the inside of it? That is amazing. One of the squatties sent that to me, and I love it. It is just so beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that. I love when the coffee cup has a different tone inside. That is remarkable. So apparently, um, that means the Monday Cafe is irresistible. Irresistible. That means Monday Cafe. So very cool. Uh, okay, you guys. I think we're good then, right? Oh, thank you so much, Truth Dilly. Nafisa Shabazz is here. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. Thank you, Mary H. I am very proud of it. I love it. Let me see here. So that is it for me today. But yeah, it's a good day. I'm glad that the Sussex's message has come across. And again, the New York Times has come through. And I hope that that reverberates all up and down Fleet Street and shake them to their rotten cores. Let's see. Nancy and Jim are gazillion times better looking than Jeremy the Horrific. Jeremy the Horrific. I like that. It was funny though. I was looking at him and I'm just like, he has Nancy Culp's hair and he's got that kind of long face like Nancy and Jim Neighbors. So B10 Pow, 12 months membership? 12 months? Wow, B10 Pow, 12 months membership to Royal Sussex. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Well, you know what? Otis the Wino and Aunt B, it's like a real love fest on the set of the Andy Griffith Show, isn't it? Well, Nancy Culp is from the Beverly Hillbillies, right? Yeah. Chief, Chief. I used to love to hear her say Chief. And Melbourne Drysdale, I love the way he says Margaret, Margaret. He always said his wife's Margaret. Oh man, let me see. Um, undeliverable, really? Let me see. Royal Sussex channel. That should work. Let me see. I'm gonna click on it and see what happens. Oh, nothing happened. Oh man. Well, the last time I shared it, the messages got through. But let me try that one more time. Let me try it one more time. Huh, that's curious. Well, okay, I'll try to share it on the community tab and see if that works. Maybe it's just not working here for some reason. Yeah, and I didn't like the way that it came out. Let me see. You know, go to the if you can, make sure you go to the top of the tab and check it. Make sure you click on it up there. Otherwise, I can't explain why that's not working because it did work before. Oh, is Ann on? Is she on? Let's see here. Okay, you guys, you can move the party over. Yes, looks like she's coming on very soon. So if you guys want to move the party over to the Duchess of Success, she'll be on pretty soon. Let me peg that to the top of the chat. There you go. All right, so the email is about to disappear, and there you go. All right, so you guys, I am going to take off. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your donations to Royal Sussex. Let me see if I have a list. Let me see here. Oh, okay. Oh, very good. All right. So, Sherry, I'm looking for the list. If you don't have it, that's fine. Oh, okay. There it is. All right. So, thank you very much to, let me see here. Okay. Elaine Parker. Thank you. Judy Makta Sid. Thank you. Legs. Alma Andrews, Lydia Washington, Noreen Bagali, and B10 Pal. Thank you for 12 months. All right, you guys. I needed to. Oh, B10 Pal. Thank you so much. I didn't even see that. Oh, there you are. B10 Pal. Thank you so much for the super sticker. All right, you guys. I need to put my humidifier on because I'm starting to sound like Isabel Sanford again. George, the Willises will be here any minute. George, see what I mean? I'm starting to sound like Isabel Sanford. So I have to go and turn on my humidifier and relax my vocal cords. The Jeffersons was filmed before a live studio audience. See what I mean? I sound just like Isabel Sanford. The Jeffersons was filmed before a live studio audience. George. Oh, hi, Helen. Lionel. George. Well, you know, guys, they said those were the departing words. As Isabel Sanford went to her glory, her last words on this earth was, The Jeffersons was filmed before a live studio audience. And of course, when Donna Douglas, you guys remember Ellie Mae Clampett? Her last words was, This has been a Filmway presentation. That was her last words before she slipped to her glory. You guys think I'm making it up, right? Let me see who else. Oh man. No, seriously, that happened. That was her last words. And of course, Buddy Epson, his last words was, Y'all come back now here. That was the last thing Buddy Epson said before he slipped to his glory, before he went to go and sing amongst the angels. His last words were, Y'all come back now here. Take your shoes off. You guys are no fun. I'm telling you, those were their last words. If you look it up, the last words of some of your favorite some of your favorite television show characters, those were their last words. So, can you guys think of any other last words before I go? Let me see. Donna Douglas, Isabel Sanford. Uh, let me see here. Well, anyway, those were their last words. So, okay, you guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna cue Ginger Avenger, and I will see. Oh, wait a minute. What about our queens? Can't forget our queens. Our queen of hearts, and our queen of everything. All right, so I'm gonna go turn on my humidifier. Oh, you think so? You think so? All I have to say is sources said, an insider said, it's been reported, someone on the ground. But I think just satisfied with sources said. All right. So, okay, that's it then. I will see you guys tomorrow. And thank you so much. It has been fun as per usual. Q Ginger Avenger. And of course, Janet Dubois' last words were, moving on up. That was the last thing she said in this world. Bless her heart. Oh, man. And of course, some of our favorite game show hosts, their last words were, "This has not been a Mark Goodson or a Bill Totson production." But yeah, so those are some of those famous last words from some of your favorite shows. And of course, Mary Tyler Moore, "Oh, Mr. Grant." That was the last thing she said. "Oh, Mr. Grant." And remember, what was her name on what show was that? The Facts of Life, Mrs. Garrett. Her last words were, "Tootie, Tootie." Yes, Bob Barker. Make sure remember to spay or neuter your pets. Exactly. Oh gosh, we're showing our age now, aren't we? But yeah, that was Edna Garrett's last words were, "Tootie." She had that little tremble in her voice, "Tootie." I think she drank. um, Pass me the Big Macs. I don't know. Oh yeah, Mary Tyler Moore passed away a couple years ago. I loved her. I love Mary Tyler Moore. It was just something so cool about her. I loved Mary Tyler Moore. I've seen like every episode of the show. Very, very cool. All right, you guys, that was a little fun walk down memory lane. I love my old TV shows. Tootie, Tootie, and Tootie, when she first started on The Facts of Life, she had those braces on, so she had that list. Mrs. Gareth, Mrs. Gareth. She had that little list going on. I'm going to tell you guys a little factoid about the Facts of Life. If you guys remember when the Facts of Life first came on, Mrs. Garrett was actually the maid for Mr. Drummond on the different strokes. Well, they thought she should have her own show, so they gave her Facts of Life. Well, Tootie, Kim Fields, the one that played Tootie, I think her mother was also an actress, right? And so she was kind of like Hollywood already. She was the smallest member of the cast. And so, in order for her to actually look like she was older, they needed her to be taller. So that's why she spent the first season or first two seasons on roller skates because they were hoping that she was going to grow so that she could actually look like she belonged on the show. So that's why she wore those roller skates. Yep, that is a true story. So that's why she wore those roller skates. Where's the beef? Oh, Clara Peller. That was her name. Where's the beef? That was Clara Peller. That's the lady who said, "Where's the beef?" Let me see. Mary's parties were legendary. Yeah, Mary Tyler Moore used to throw the worst parties. She always threw the worst parties. Let me see. Oh, Kim Peaches says, "I love That Girl, Bewitched, and Love Boat, etc." Oh, okay. Let me see. I used to watch That Girl and Bewitched, and I watched Love Boat. Yeah, I watched that too. Let me see here. Okay, so right, so Kip Fields was Kim Fields' mom. I knew her mother was an actress. I just didn't know who she was, but I mean, I think she looks almost just like her mother. So she's like a mini me. So yeah, yeah, I love to see like those like television when they tell you all of the behind the scenes stuff. I love that stuff. Oh yeah. You got to tug on that ear. Carol Burnett, you got to tug on that ear. I'm so glad we had this time together. Thank you, Connie Balmer. I'm so glad you're here. We're glad you're here. Let me see here. Now sit right back and I tell a tale of a fateful ship that started from this island port. Wait. Oh man, I messed that up, didn't I? No boats, no home, no motor cars, not a single luxury. Let me see there. Oh, is he back on Twitter? Yuck. Well, I watched I think as I got older, I started going back and watching some of those television shows from the 60s. And it was really interesting that oh gosh, what was the name of the show? Uh Green Acres. They like just before it was canceled, they had they had a black kid on the show, and I can only remember they ever had that one black kid on the show, and that was because the Green Acres, Mr. Douglas's farm, was used as like a day camp or weekend camp for the inner city kids. And I remember the Beverly Hillbillies when they introduced black people on that show. So a lot of those shows, as the civil rights movement became more prevalent and more popular, a lot of those shows actually started introducing black people to the shows, and even in some cases, some Asian people to the show. Very, very, unusual to see that, but I never knew that it was a black person ever on Green Acres until I saw that one episode. And yeah, but I think the first sitcom that had a black person on there that was not working in the kitchen or delivering milk or newspapers. Do you guys remember when the Dick Van Dyke Show? Do you guys remember when Rob, oh Rob, when Rob thought they had took home the wrong baby, and Laura was like, Rob, that's our baby, and he was like, well, just look at him. Doesn't he look like so and so, so and so? And at the same time, if you guys never saw the show, Rob Petrie and Laura Petrie had their baby. What was his name? Oh gosh, Richie. And so when Richie was born, Rob, well, okay, Laura was in the hospital, and there was the Petrie family. So that you had the Petries and the Petrie family, and so Laura got Mrs. Petrie's flowers, and Mrs. Petrie got Laura's chocolates or something like that. And so they kept delivering stuff and saying and doing things in the wrong room, right? Now, mind you, this is what, 1962 or something like that? 64? It was before color television, that's for sure. And so eventually, when they took Richie home from the hospital, Rob started getting this weird notion that Richie was not his child. And he even tried to take the baby's footprint and compare it with the print from the hospital. And Laura was taking a nap, and she wakes up and the baby's foot is blue. And she's like, Rob, what is going on here? And he's like, that's not our kid. And so since they had got the wrong delivery at their house, Rob called up the Petries and said, I think we have something that belongs to you. And he wanted to take a look at the Petries to see if they resembled Richie, his son. And so when the Petries came over, it was like one of the funniest things. Nobody even needed to say a word. When they opened up the door, the Petrie family, I think that was their name, was the Petries. This very well-groomed black man and woman, very smartly dressed, are at the door smiling like, yeah, we got your this and you got our that, whatever it was that was delivered to the wrong place. And it was like the longest laugh I think they had, or one of the longest laughs they ever had on the Dick Van Dyke Show. And that was like one of the few times where you had someone black on television before the 1970s that was not some type of customer service, like milkman or something. So that was really cool. Very progressive. And I was looking at a documentary about the Dick Van Dyke Show. They almost would not air that show because they were so afraid to offend people. They almost didn't air it, but it was like one of the most epic scenes ever on the Dick Van Dyke Show, which I love that show, by the way. And of course, I love Laura Petrie. Oh, Rob, I tried so hard. She always had that kind of like moaning, crying. No, Rob. Well, Dick Van Dyke is still alive. He's still alive. He looks good too. I mean, he's like, God, I think he's about old as the Queen now, right? But yeah, he's still alive. So let's see. Connie says, this is interesting for me. I had never heard of these movies, stories. We don't have such in Switzerland. Oh, okay. Yeah. Those shows, a lot of them that I mentioned are from either the 60s or the early 70s, or they went from the 60s to the early 70s. Yeah, but by 1970, I think all of the shows from the 60s were gone, right? I think they had that one black kid on the Brady Bunch, right? That he was like a neighbor or something. Well, you know what, you guys, all I can say is they tried. They really did try. They were trying to be with it. Oh, 97. My goodness. when he had just turned 90, I think he was on the Academy Awards, Dick Van Dyke, and he did a dance routine from his Disney movie, the one where he was on the roof, like dressed like a chimney sweep. Do you guys remember that? And everybody remarked about how fit he was doing that routine. Let me see if I can find that. I want to see how old he was when he was on the Academy Awards. Let me see. Dick Van Dyke, Academy Awards. Okay. Up. Okay. Okay, let me see here. Dick Van Dyke. Academy Awards. Okay. Yes, I'm in Academy Awards. You know I couldn't spell that right. Okay. When he was on there last time, oh man, what year was that? I know, I think he was like 90 when he was on there last time. Or what, no, 2017 maybe? I think it was 2017. So, I mean, he was up there and he was keeping up with those young people. All I know is I was very impressed with the way he danced. I could step in time or jump in time. Oh gosh. Okay. It was from Mary Poppins and Step in Time. That was the name of the song. Step in Time. And that was 4 years ago. That was 4 years ago. So if you guys want to see it, Dick Van Dyke, who was like already was he 92? I'm gonna share that with you right now. I'm gonna share it with you. I can't show you for obvious reasons, but Dick Van Dyke dancing in his 90s. Now that gives everybody hope, I'm sure. Not me, I give up. But Well, yeah, they posted this 4 years ago, so I think that that's when it was posted. But yeah, Dick Van Dyke, old as he is, and this guy is dancing. Okay, so he didn't dance right away, but when he comes out, he does his thing. Wow, and you know, I think when I saw this, because I'm getting emotional now because I love Dick Van Dyke, but when I saw this, I'm just like now, I'm starting to get tears in my eyes. Uh, okay. All right. So that guy from what is that show? Dancing with the Stars, Jeremy Huff. He's actually in it. So okay, Dick Van Dyke comes out and the crowd jumps to their feet. So when you get a chance to, make sure you watch this. And look at him, he's stepping time. I mean, of course, he didn't do a whole lot, but come on. The guy is in his 90s. I love that. I'm getting goosebumps. All right, so there you go. Let me see. Each year, Halloween, Dick and his wife have a Halloween event at their house for the neighborhood. Oh, why don't I do that? For the neighborhood, he loves scary animatronics. He used to make his own back in the day. I love him. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Let me see here. Yeah, I know. Someone just asked me yesterday about accountability, and you know, now that they have found those files here, there, and everywhere, It almost seems like this is made up, doesn't it? Like the idea that, oh, yeah, even Jimmy Carter had some files at his house, but Jimmy Carter turned his in. And then some psychopath on Fox News said that they should search Barack Obama's house. All I can say is if you don't start none, oh, is that tomorrow? Oh, Duchess of Success is on tomorrow. Oh, okay. You know, I didn't look at oh yeah. Wait, okay, 23 hours. I see. Yeah, I didn't even look at that. Okay, so she's on tomorrow. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for the update. Let me see here. Fox News or Facebook? Both. Oh yeah, Facebook. I know Facebook took the Orange Menace back. Yeah. Oh, okay. Step in time. Do do be do boop boo be do be do do do. I love Ella Fitzgerald. Boo do be do boo boo be do be do do do. Oh man. Whenever I hear Ella Fitzgerald sing "I'm in the mood for love," I don't care how bad the day is, it always perks me up. Ella Fitzgerald, "I'm in the mood for love." If you need a little pick me up, go and find Ella Fitzgerald, "I'm in the mood for love." I'm in the mood for love simply because you're near me. And she starts off with boo doo be doo boo boo be doo doo wah. That is like one of my guilty pleasures, one of my favorite things in life. Okay. What is that? Common Sense YouTube channel video. Omen Scobie. Oh, Omen Scobie is on YouTube? Really? I didn't know that. Common Sense YouTube channel. Okay. You know what? I saw, oh yes, where he's sitting in his chair like he's on the Matrix, right? He's sitting in that Matrix chair. Oh no, this is a YouTube channel. Common Sense. Whose channel is this?
As a result of that, it's why it was almost impossible for her to live any kind of healthy existence here in the UK. Is what?
Okay, Common Sense. Huh. All right. Well, oh, maybe I should peg that to the top of the chat, right? Okay, give me a second. I'm going to peg that to the top of the chat so that you guys can find it. Got nothing. Oh, okay. Let me see here. Oh, okay. All right. All right, you guys. I am going to go. Let me do this. I'll peg this. And then I am going to make like a tree and leave. Or make like a banana and split. It has been fun, but I'm fixing to go. And I will see you all tomorrow. And I'm not even going to throw up any deuces like that kid did. Like that kid did Kate. I'm not even going to throw up any deuces. Oh my God, that was so funny. Let me see here. Huh. Okay, interesting. Let me see. Oh, more interesting. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Love you. And I will see you all tomorrow. Hey, Sean. I didn't know you were on here. Thanks, Sean. Okay. Peace out. And end broadcast. There we go. Thanks, guys.